The next effect that I would like to talk about is time remapping. So I'd like to create a new sequence. For that, I'm going to click here and choose sequence. And the preset that I want is already selected, so I'm just going to go ahead and double click it. And there it is. I can rename this time remapping. And in fact, I think I'm going to rename the first one color correct. Now for the time remapping one, I'm going to import a file. So I'll go to the media browser, and from here, I'll go to the one named Quad01. I can import it a number of ways, but I'm going to double click it so that it opens in the source panel. I'm going to preview it. And that's the one I want, so I'm going to go ahead and drag it to the timeline. And I'm going to do a zoom to fit, which is the backslash key right on top of your enter or return key. Time remapping is one of the few effects that I'm going to recommend that you work with it in the timeline. So for that, I'm going to make the timeline a little bit larger, and I'm going to make these tracks a little bit larger as well. I'm also going to go ahead and show the name only of the tracks without any kind of heads or tails, anything like that. Right here where it says opacity, I'm going to click there and I'll select time remapping speed. What this does is that now this line that we see here refers to time remapping, doesn't refer to opacity or volume or anything else, but to time remapping. So what is time remapping? Time remapping is what we can use to change the frame rate at which the video is playing. Therefore, we're going to be changing the speed of the video. It can play faster, slower, progressively faster, progressively slower. So this is how it works. Say at this point in time, right on this frame, I want to slow the video down. So at this point, I would create a keyframe. I press and hold the Control or Command key, and when the mouse cursor changes into an arrow with a little plus sign, I can then click, and the keyframe gets created. Now I move to a different point in the clip, and I'm going to create another keyframe right here. Press and hold Control or Command, and when you see the arrow with the little plus sign, you can click, and there you go. Now, between the two keyframes, I can change the speed or the rate at which the clip is playing by raising or lowering this line. If I raise it, the video plays faster in between the two keyframes. Let's test that. And it does. If I lower it, the clip plays slower. Notice that it's not affecting the audio and that there is a percentage sign that it appears to tell us at what speed the clip is going to be playing at that point in time. If we play it, it goes really, really slow. Now, how is this different than using the tools up here, especially the rate stretch tool? Well, right now there is no difference between using the rate stretch tool and using this. To use the rate stretch tool, all I would have to do is cut, then use the tool. But what this does that is different is that I can separate these two keyframes. So now, between the regular speed and the point in time where it goes slower, it's not just an abrupt change, it's a gradual change. This is known as speed ramping. So now it's just going to go slow, slower, 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 and slower, instead of an abrupt regular speed, then slow, then back to regular speed. And this is what that looks like. And I can do the same on the other side. I can separate the two halves of the keyframe, and now it gradually goes back to normal speed. Again, this is known as speed ramping. Now, I'm going to add a second instance of this clip to the timeline. And I'm going to play with the time remapping again. At this point in time, I'm going to add a keyframe. Control or Command, click. If I press and hold the Control or Command key and I click and drag this clip, notice that right now I have these chevrons that are pointing left. What that tells me is that in between those two keyframes, so keyframes 1 and 2, the video is going to play backwards and then back to forward. You can even see the little pop-up that says minus 100%. Backwards, forwards. And I can keep on dragging it and dragging it and dragging it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. The shortcut key is the Control Command key. Click and drag, and there you go. Forwards, backwards, etc., etc. I'm going to drag yet another instance of this clip to the timeline. And I'm going to zoom in now so I can see it better. And I'm going to add a keyframe here. Right now, if I wanted to move this keyframe, I could not do it, because if I did this, I would be separating the keyframes in halves, right? Because that's what the speed ramping it's doing, right? So if I undo this, I press and hold the Alt or Option key and I drag, I can move just the position of the keyframe. I can also press and hold Option Command or Alt and Control and drag the keyframe, and now in between those two keyframes, the first and the second keyframes, I get a freeze frame. So it plays normal, it freeze frames, and then it continues. In the past, we would have had to freeze the image a number of different ways, including maybe exporting a still, etc., etc. But now with time remapping, all we need to do is add a keyframe, press and hold, Command and Option, or Alt and Control, and drag the keyframe, and in between those two keyframes, we get a freeze frame. So time remapping is very, very powerful. Now I want you to notice that in no moment this affected the audio. This is for video only.